Hey everyone, it's Nick from Nick's Crossing. Welcome back to the train room for a fantastic video today. Today, we're not only going to be reviewing these beautiful MPC era GP9s with the Florida East Coast paint scheme, we're also going to be talking about some items that our good friend George from Florida Railroad Dog sent some items from the great state of Florida all the way up here to PA. So here we go, guys. All aboard. Alright guys, so a lot of you may not believe this, but I had no idea what the FEC Railway was, where they were in Florida, what was their main import, export, what's the history. So, I actually did a little bit of research, and over time, I've gained a lot of appreciation for this railway, and I actually almost applied for a job at the FEC for a conductor role, but at the time, it just didn't make a lot of financial sense for me at this time. I just bought my first home, and it would be a very, very big move from Pennsylvania down to Florida, so not today, but it is an excellent organization, and they are expanding at an exponential rate. I believe they have like 30% growth last year in their earnings, which is fantastic. The Florida East Coast is actually based out of Jacksonville, Florida, just like CSX is as well. And they actually interchange with CSX because FEC goes from Jacksonville all the way down to the Florida Keys, and it's the only railroad that does that to this day. They do lots of intermodal service. It says rock trains, things like that. Standard, mixed freight trains and autos from, I guess they're coming out of Mexico through the Gulf, up through Miami, and shipped up the coast. Now, the FEC parallels Route 1, so there's a lot of road traffic with also Bright Line, things like that. So it's a very busy railroad in a very populated area of Florida. Now, there are some desolate parts of the FEC that I've seen on YouTube of people jumping trains, which I disagree with. That you should not jump trains. It's illegal as all get out, and it's also extremely dangerous. But there are parts of the FEC on both sides there's water. The Atlantic Ocean is on one side, and a swamp full of gators is on the other side. So yeah, don't do that. Don't jump trains, but appreciate the videos and all of that. But anyways, the FEC has been around since 1885. It's originally an oil route for the Standard Oil Company from John D. Rockefeller, and also we have a character named Henry Flagler, started the railroad, and it was a Class 1 originally, and now it's owned by a Mexican company called Grupo Mexico. They're a Class 2 railway, and they ship intermodal and all that. So today we're going to be talking about some items that George from Florida Railroad Dog sent me as well, starting with this no trespassar sign, which is really cool. And I think CSX actually had this character on their trespassing signs as well. We call him like the disco trespasser, and it's actually so reflective. Look at that. You can see this a mile away on a pole. So this is going to go up here in the studio, and I've been flattening this sign out. It was unfortunately kind of crushed on shipping, but it should be perfectly fine. These signs are meant to go around trees and poles. They go up with a staple gun. This is in a great home. We're going to tack her up on the wall somewhere, but got a disco trespasser right there. The big old X, and there's the no trespassar. I love this sign. I love railroad signage in general. It's just a lot of fun, and the B&O Museum actually did a fundraiser not too long ago, and I picked up a bunch of signage and all kinds of stuff. I got a normal no trespassing sign with CSX. It's not the disco. He's not doing like one of these. I thought it was really cool. He also sent me a FEC police badge, which is really nice. It says 1895, so maybe that's when the FEC police were, started. So I thought that was really nice as well. So thank you, George, for those items. And he also sent me an item that's back there. Can't really see it, but we're going to save that for another time. It's an amazing locomotive, and it's just a lot of fun to run. Just leaving her like in a low speed, she just chugs along, fills this whole room up with smoke. Now originally I overfilled that locomotive with smoke fluid, but now she is smoking just fine. It's awesome. So thank you, George, for those items. So now we're going to talk about my FEC collection. And these are Nikki's favorites of the collection. She has sworn, she's like, don't you ever get rid of them, don't sell them. I actually sold my Florida East Coast BL2 without her knowing that. I got in a lot of trouble, but we're going to talk about these diesels. So these are from, we're going to go Trackside in just a moment here, but these are from 1980, and just really simple GP9s with the Florida East Coast. Now, I looked up this paint scheme, and it's sort of opposite. If you guys ever look up the paint scheme for this GP9, The 1960 scheme is what they're calling this. The paint scheme's kind of reversed. The lettering is also brought down to like right about here in the center, not up top. So these are complete fantasy locomotives, which is perfectly fine. They look great. The paint scheme is somewhat real. The Caboose actually has a more realistic paint scheme. This is also from 1980 right here. Alright guys, so the GP9 locomotive, just some stats right here. It's saying 1,750 horsepower was like the max. Now I've heard a different range in there. I've heard like 14 to 1,600 horsepower. Later on, a lot of these were upgraded to GP10s when Conrail got a hold of them. It was an DC to AC conversion, added about 400 horsepower or so on the max end. That's like the max end. The top speed is 65 miles per hour. If that's happening, I swear, man, this thing, 65 in this, you're going to be doing one of these down the tracks, and yeah, not fun. It'd be bouncing around like a washing machine. If we go up here, it looks like it's got 4 traction motors, EMD D37Bs, 16-cylinder engines, pretty awesome. And there's some other stats here. 4,092 were built of the A units, so that's with a cab. 165 B units, so we call them CAF or power units, were also built. And they're diesel-electric locomotives, built from 1954 to 1963, so pretty straightforward. It's my favorite EMD vintage locomotive between the 9s and the 7s. I like the sounds of the 7s. They're a little bit more cranky, and a lot of GP7s do not have the dynamic brake fins up here, the cooling fins. Some of them do, but I prefer the ones without. It just looks like, I don't know, it just looks different. I like different. So we're going to get you guys trackside for a review on these awesome locomotives. Alright guys, so here she is, 1980 Lionel AA set in the Florida East Coast scheme. These locomotives are absolutely beautiful, but there is one major problem with the paint scheme. The stripe is in the wrong place. And what I mean by that is that this stripe should actually be up further, going through the window, and the lettering here, Florida East Coast, should be brought down to where the stripe is. So exact opposite. I don't know if whoever was working on it is drinking too many margaritas, but you did it wrong. You did it opposite. So opposite day. Now the other little critique, I don't really care about this as much, but the numbers are wrong on here. This should actually be in a 600 or 700 series, not 4 digits. So just 3-digit 7 or 600 series numbers. FEC actually had 23 GP9s, and I just, I thought that'd be kind of cool to bring that up as well. But these locomotives operate extremely well. They're fully conventional, and they just have a motor, a reverse unit that's hiding under here, forward and directional lighting that are always lit, operating couplers by hand, so it's got that little tab on here. You just pull her down, the couplers detach, full metal pilots and trucks, and this locomotive has also been upgraded with metal gears. Now how that happened was that I actually used the parts out of this locomotive to build a Norfolk Southern GP9, which now I kind of regret doing, but I did it anyways, and all the parts out of this were gutted out, so she was just a dummy unit. So I took it to a Lionel repair technician, and while paying the man, I looked underneath. I said, "Oh, you put metal gears in here?" He's like, "Oh yeah, why would I keep the plastic ones in? Those are junk." So he changed them all to metal gears. So thank you so much. I hope to see him at York this year, and remind him of the great work he did on this locomotive. But anyways, this is an AA set, so we have another one to look at. This is 8,064. Move her down, we have 8,065. So yeah, you could actually technically make both of these power units, but I believe this truck up here is a full dummy truck, so you'd have to find a power truck and all of that. But yeah, just a really cool set. I don't believe this locomotive lights up, but I'd love to put LEDs in there for some some more fun and action on the railroad. Now, a couple of things to point out. These shells can be brittle, they can be fragile. Just like the post-war locomotives, you have 2 screws that hold on the shell. So one back here, and then one up front, up here. So those screws, if you tighten them too hard or you drop the locomotive, they can crack the shell. That's the only biggest problem I've had with these MPC locomotives, or even post-war. You have to be very careful with the brittle plastic shells. Other than that, these things run so well. They're nice and crunchy, no horn or anything. These are just conventional runners. So I'm going to get these off the track. I'm going to show you guys the cars we'll be running with these awesome GP9s. Alright guys, for the cars for tonight's run session, of course we have all FEC items. So, bay window Caboose from 1980 to semi-scale 027. Looks beautiful. My only complaint that it has one of those halogen lights in it, so I'd love to convert this to an LED to keep the graphics and the car nice and cool, non-melty. We don't want our cars to melt. And yeah, she looks great. I love bay window Cabooses. Also has the ladders on the sides. I think that's a nice touch. Now it does look like a smoking Caboose, but no, it's just a conventional lighted Caboose with operational couplers. Next we're going to get into some MTH cars. FEC baggage car. All metal die-cast trucks. Next we have an observation dome car right there, all lighted. It actually has some interior seating and furniture. It's a really nice car. Next we have a standard coach. And finally we have the party observation car, one of my favorites right there. And these all have chairs in them and everything, so they're fully furnished, ready to roll. I might put some figurines in these cars eventually. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But they're beautiful. They're all MTH Rail King. So they're semi-scale, but I like to call Rail King beefy. They're chunky. They look great with your scale stuff, your semi-scale stuff. Definitely love running my Rail King cars. There we go, just one last time. Now the baggage car is unlighted, but I don't think baggage needs a light. Unless it's nighttime, you gotta claim your baggage, but other than that, I don't think you need lights in a baggage car. But the Caboose, yeah, definitely, and she's already heating up. Alright guys, we have our units ready to roll, so let's give her some power, see what direction she's gonna go. I'm assuming reverse. Let's see. Oh, neutral. Reverse. Neutral, and this should be forward. Alright guys, all aboard. Alright everyone, so that's going to do it for this review today. Reviewing my FEC collection, highly inspired by my good friend down south, Mr. Florida Railroad Dog himself, George. Thank you so much for sending me these items. They will be cherished and displayed proudly in the Nick's Crossing studio. And I plan on putting the no trespassing sign on the door next to the CSX trespassing sign. Then the badge will also go up on the wall, kind of make it one giant piece there to showcase everything that you sent. So thank you so much. I do plan on doing a full review on this beautiful locomotive. It's a C&J 777 camelback. It's the first camelback I've ever owned. It's a fantastic little loco, and she does smoke out the room. Again, I added too much smoke fluid because I get excited. You know, I love using this JT's Mega Steam right here. Apple Harvest was the flavor of the night. So yeah, I love smoking out the room with this awesome scented JT's right there. But yeah, guys, check out George's channel. It makes family-friendly content, railroad reviews, some railfan content in there. He also does tutorials. He did a awesome ERR, electric railroad conversion. I watched that video like 20 times just to get an idea of what I'm getting myself into with these ERR board conversions, which I plan on doing in the future, and also kind of inspired me to do the upgrade video that's coming out soon. But yeah, great friend, great channel. Guys, check out Florida Railroad Dog. His channel is growing very fast, so yeah, definitely check him out. But anyways, guys, if you're new to my channel, always consider subscribing. Make sure to leave a comment. Love reading those comments. And giving the video one of these really does help out the channel. Until next time, everyone, happy railroading, and we will see you next time. See you guys.